Continuing the program of Sound Foundation for Babies, today we are stepping into week 9. So what are the auditory goals for 9th session? Your baby has already completed 2 months of therapy and must be showing good progress. Now we work further to increase the clarity of the speech and more vocabulary and language so that the gestures are reduced and spoken language communication increases. In addition, your goal will be auditory feedback loop, to create auditory feedback loop and to develop auditory feedback in your child. This is again related to speech and of course language. See, when you speak, the baby listens. Then you repeat. The baby tries to imitate you and repeat whatever you have said. The first time, the baby may not be able to say exactly the way you said it, but there will be little approximation. So there are so many options of approximation in a particular word. This can be better done through, again, learning to listen sounds, which are easier for the child to listen and to imitate. For example, if you say, where is the cat? Give me the cat. Or there is a cat. The child cannot say cat because K is not developmental consonant at this stage. T final is also very difficult to say T. So the child may only be able to say air because the child has vowels developed already. But when you say the cat says meow, so now there is so much activity in your speech, so many options in your speech. When you are saying meow, you are using a consonant m, which is easy to listen and easy to articulate for the baby. It is a developmental consonant. Then again you are using 2 vowels, diphthongs. Then you are using duration, you are using high pitch. So baby will be able to match some part of it at least. So when you talk about this, slowly, the children learn to imitate the words, the sounds, and slowly their speech becomes more and more clear. Coming to receptive language goals, the goal we are starting with questions now. 2 months you had been talking to the baby with statements, or did you ask questions? Not much. Even if you ask questions, you reply yourself, right? Now we start with different parts of language also, not only nouns. Nouns are 10% of language, correct? So we do that where we ask questions where. This question is the easiest one for the children to understand and relevant to them. So how do you say where? You can have different activities where this question can be used meaningfully. For example, you can play hide and seek. Let the child play with other children like siblings or cousins or neighbors or friends, and you be the master, the leader in that. You also play with them and play hide and seek. So make the children hide, help them to hide somewhere and ask your child, where is he, where is she, taking the name of the child. Now this is very easy, it is contextual, so the child can understand that you are asking where is the child and they will start searching for the child. Another thing, you can also use activity where you hide the objects, the toys, and you say, where's the car? Where's the doggy? And then the child has to look for it and try to find it, again understanding the question where. So initially use the question with context, in context, and then slowly out of context, without context. This is, we call it close set and open set. So when the choice is option is clear to the child, this is a closed set. When there is a reference, when there's a context, the child knows what you are talking about. The situation, it is related to the situation. That is closed set. It's easy to understand better. But then slowly we have to move to open set, where there is no clue, there is no context, there is no reference, and the child has to listen to the pure language and understand what are you saying. You remember we were doing the book Where is Spot? So what was in that? When you use the question where, by default you will start teaching prepositions. So therefore we will introduce simple prepositions here and simple adjectives here when we are using these where question. So you say, where is the car? Car is in the door. Where is the book? It's in the cupboard. So you're using in. Okay. Like that you continue. But remember, in the receptive language, the child is understanding and not repeating, not saying it, but understanding. But when you give role model, like the child does not know the language, so the prompt communication, the spontaneous communication of the child is pointing. Saying, the child cannot say, I want this. The child is pointing. And then you say, you want this. The child says, you don't want this? No. When you are talking like this to the child is understanding. And also when you point out, you give the child points out, you give the role model, then the child repeats that verbal model, what you have given. And then the child goes from receptive language to expressive language. Also, whenever you're talking, when you're talking in a sentence, the child will try to imitate the last word, and the last word will slowly become the expressive language of the child. Another activity you can do is singing. When you're singing, the child will try to follow your intonation, and that will become the expressive language. The child will also start imitating the last words you have said, which will become vocabulary of expressive language for that particular child. So in expressive language, what you do, you will check that the child is doing imitation of the last word, the child is trying to follow the intonation, and is doing spontaneous communication. Coming to speech, the main goal is vocalization. We are still working on vocalization, and we are working on suprasegmental, imitation of suprasegmentation, and imitation of words and phrases and sentences. The child learns speech through imitation. So when you sing or you say something, the child tries to copy that, imitates that, and the vocalization will come. The vocalization is nothing but auditory feedback, which we have earlier talked about. Now, in this state, the speech goal, you are looking for approximation, not only vocalization, but approximation of what you have said when the child is trying to imitate. So, for example, when you say something, the child must, there are different stages, the child must first copy, match the duration in suprasegmental, which is more difficult for the child to copy, but initially duration is very easy to copy. So the child can understand this is a small word or this is a large word, a big word, and then there's more duration and there's less duration. So in the imitation, the child will use the same duration. Then next, once the child starts copying duration, next the child will start matching vowels. Now the child can say all the vowels, articulate most of the vowels, because you are going to diphthongs. We talked about it last time. Therefore, what will you do now? You will give the word, wait, pause and wait, and the child will approximate the length of duration of that particular word. When the child is matching the duration, the child is actually matching the number of syllables. So when you say dog, the child says oh. Child is matching, there is one syllable. Child will not say oh. When you say dog, the child might say dog. But child will not say doggy by the No. Then next, the child will, if you say, suppose you say a giraffe, the child will not say J, child says yeah. So child is again giving two vowels, E, A, P, A. The imitation is on number of syllables. Then comes consonant. Now there are some consonants your child can produce at this age. There are some consonants for which you will have to wait. In the support material provided to you on the website, I told you you can download the support material. In the support material, there is a list of speech acquisition scale where you can know what is the age of the child and what consonant the child is expected to articulate. So expect only those consonants which are according to the age of the child, which you should expect. That is called developmental consonants. So work on developmental consonants. When you're working on duration, vowels, number of syllables, consonants, then obviously you're working on words. And now the child is imitating the words also correctly. Okay. The song for this week I have picked up is Wheels of the Bus. Why? We are still working on learning to listen sounds. So this is a book, and you sing the song. Wheels of the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. Wheels of the bus go round and round on a sunny day. So the child starts to copy. Then you go to the next page, and when you say, the bell of the bus goes ding, 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 ding. The bells of the bus go ding, ding, ding on a day. And then you go to the last page. The horn of the bus goes beep, 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 beep. Horns of the bus go beep, beep, beep on a day. So you can sing this, give to the child will be playing with it and you're singing. Now there, again you see beep, beep, he will come. 6 sounds are coming here, learning to listen sounds are coming, and the child will follow. There is a particular rhythm. For story, you can still repeat the book we did last time, where is Spot, that dog is hiding, the puppy, or you can take another book. I picked up this book because of the question, where? Where is my teddy? There's a big bear and he had a big teddy. Now in this book, you will use the adjectives big and small again and again meaningfully, and the child will understand the adjectives, the difference between big and small with the help of the pictures. So there's a visual cue also. This is the story of a big bear. He had a small teddy bear with him. He loved his big teddy bear. Okay. Then you say there was Eddie. Eddie had a small teddy bear and he lost that small teddy bear. So he's searching for the bear. And this way we go on the story, and then he says, Eddie saw the teddy bear and he said, "This is not my bear. This is too big. My bear is a small bear." And then he goes on, and then the big bear comes and he's carrying his own teddy bear. And the big bear says, "Oh, that is my teddy. Oh, this teddy is too small. This is too small. That is my teddy." So he threw the small teddy down and picked up his big teddy and went away. "Aha," Teddy said, "that is my teddy." So Eddie also got his teddy and they went to sleep. And when they went to sleep, big Teddy slept on a big bed and small Teddy slept on a small bed. Good night. Good night. Like this, you read the book. There is question where is my teddy, where is my teddy? And you are going now beyond. We are going to prepositions, we are going to adjectives. We are not only doing noun. Thank you. Hope it helps you. And if I repeat, if you have any questions, please write in the comments. Thank you.